There is a place between pixels and reality where the lines of gaming, tech, and pop culture blur into chaos. A world where the past collides with the future, where ones and zeros shape destiny. But beware, nothing is ever what it seems.
From retro classics to breaking news, from hot takes to rage-fueled rants, we break it down, rank it up, and glitch it out, one bite at a time. So grab your headsets, log in, and get ready to glitch out. This is Glitch in the Chat.
It, Tyler.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were being smart. Hey, everybody. This is Glitch in the Chat. Welcome back for episode 2. We got a fun day planned for you guys of exploring my personal hell, which was watching and sitting through and enduring Snow White, the movie. I did it so you guys didn't have to. And you're welcome. I literally jumped on a grenade.
Oh.
So
one?
Thanks, Tyler. And by the way, these are my friends and my co-host, Tyler, and joining us for the first time ever for episode dos is my good buddy Quintanamo, also known as Q. Say hi to the folks, Q.
Hey, folks.
He's a man of few words, but when he talks, you're just like, I felt that.
Did you feel
Right in
it?
your giblets.
Right in the giblets.
I mean,
Down in the loins.
Right
it's just
on.
it's a deep burn. So, Tyler, what do we have today?
Well, we're gonna go over some pretty cool stuff, actually. We're gonna, just like you said, we're gonna watch something about Snow White, and we're gonna watch some stuff about Star Citizen and some Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft's plan after Assassin's Creed, and then we're gonna watch, admittedly, some pretty funny mid-2000s TV.
Yes, the best kind of TV, because it was the best era for TV.
You think so?
Well, I mean, at the time, it was amazing, and then when it comes out and you watch the documentary about Nickelodeon, you're just like, it was kind of messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was the greatest era when I was going through it, and then now that I look back on it, I'm just like, there were some dark things with
It's because we
my
were
childhood.
kids back then, though. Like we didn't know that stuff was going on. You know what I mean?
That's fair, and we thought it was hilarious. And then you look at it as an adult, and you're just like, it wasn't funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
The Ariana
But-
Grande
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
the feet, the potato, the water.
Amanda
Zoe
Bynes.
101, Zoe 101, like squirting the gel liquid on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little messed up. But
Yeah.
I still have fond memories of my childhood.
Yeah. The
How do
crazy thing is all those shows were really good. You know, I mean, as
I mean, they-
creepy as he was, like Dan Snyder made some good television. So
It's true, but it was really messed up and dark.
yeah, but as a child, you don't notice that. Just like he was saying, you know, like
It's
you don't notice that stuff. You're a 10-year-old kid. You don't know what.
yeah. I mean, he was a genius by just being a complete pig.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
You're right. You are right.
because apparently that never goes away. Like you have it at a young age, and it stays that way when you get older.
Yeah.
But it's just creepier.
It's creepy when the 40-year-old man tells the 12-year-old to squirt the gel all over her face, just double fisting it, just all over, right?
It's
that's pretty creepy.
Really messed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you enjoy it when you're 11.
You're right. You do. You do. Because it's an
All right,
11-year-old.
man. So what?
You're just like,
Shit.
what? She's just putting it all over the place. Yeah, I know. So anyway,
All right, let's talk about something else.
okay.
What's the first
let's
topic,
jump-
Tyler?
Yeah, what are we
we
jumping
starting on
into?
first?
I think we'll go. I think we'll just bite the head off the snake and we'll just go right into Snow White.
No, God, no! You're gonna make me relive this.
There are certain fundamental truths about this world which are so universal that anyone,
I saw
no
this.
matter
I
their
saw this
race,
video.
color, or
Yeah.
creed, can pretty much agree on them.
It's-
1.
he did a pretty good job.
Most Vindaloo far.
I like this
2.
guy's stuff.
Spreadable butter isn't. 3. Anytime a woman starts a sentence with "a real man would," you know you're about to hear some weapons grade retardation. And to that not so illustrious list, we can add that the Snow White live action remake was, without a doubt, one of the worst ideas in the whole history of entertainment. Possibly the most predictable of all failures, a project.
Oh, pause it, real quickly, because this question came to me when I was watching this movie, and I came to a harsh realization, and I want your guys' honest opinion. Gal Gadot, is she a good actress?
She does the job. I think she's okay.
Or
she's all right. She's good
Is
enough.
she just hot?
Combination.
And all these movies that you saw, like Wonder Woman, like the first Wonder Woman, all these movies, you were seeing it through the prism of Gal Gadot just being that good looking, and you ignore that she can't deliver lines. I mean, I was not aware of this, but she definitely can't sing. And
Really?
like when she has her entire body covered, like literally hair and all, because when her hair's showing, you're like, oh yeah, I see it, she's really attractive. When it's just this and this is all you see, you're just like, yeah, I can see through your bullshit.
I don't think she's any better or worse than any other actor out there. You know,
There's some good actors though,
there's some good ones. Yeah, for sure.
like
for
some
sure.
really, like that just deliver
They're few and far between.
amazing
though.
lines.
They're few and far between.
think-
Anymore.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never seen a Gal Gadot movie, or I don't think I even know.
You didn't watch
she
Fast
looks
and the
like.
Furious?
Which one?
There's
There are
12.
like 14 of
Like
them now?
19?
19? No,
I think
did not.
it was 19.
I think I watched
no,
the
which
first.
one did she? Which one was she in? She was in like 3 of them, and then spoiler alert, for those who haven't seen it, she dies. But I just spoiled.
That's news
those movies
to me.
are real. They're really old, and you should know this.
I
Without Gal Gadot, you would not have Tokyo Drift. You're
Really?
welcome, America.
He was in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah,
I
because
just
that's
completely
what
missed
that's.
that.
No, she was not in Tokyo Drift, but when she dies, it convinces Han to go back to Tokyo, and then that's when Tokyo Drift takes place, when he separates from Vin Diesel. Because there's a weird time loop in those movies. I don't understand. Honestly, I have no idea what order you're supposed to watch those movies in. And there's a weird time loop.
oh
I don't know how we got on Fast and the Furious. Let's
No.
talk about Snow White, please.
Yeah. Let's just stay on the track.
For all the wrong reasons, starring all the wrong people, pushing all the wrong messages,
See, look at her.
and telling the entirely wrong story.
Not pleasant.
The delays and the controversies.
I never thought you could make her look bad, but they
Roaming
did.
around it for what feels like decades now. It was actually kind of weird to finally sit down and just watch this thing, like meeting a celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, so when you had the problem, I think, I mean, yes, the reviews were really bad.
I got
Right.
another.
So the reviews were bad. The audience score was bad. But do you think that was because the movie was actually bad, or, and hear me out, that the stigma behind the movie was so bad that the people went into it with a negative mindset?
So here's the thing.
I mean,
I
I've never seen
No.
the movie, so I'm
I know,
asking
but
you honestly.
I'm legitimate. I'm going to give you my opinion on it. So like there was stigma with Beauty and the Beast. You've seen Beauty and the Beast, the remake with Emma Watson. Did you see that one? The live action.
I watched it. It was
Beauty and
fine.
the Beast? Yeah. So, but there was stigma with what Gaston's little dude. I can't think of his name because he was gay. They made him gay in it.
Oh, Olaf.
Or at least they hinted. No, yeah, the actor was Olaf, but I can't think of
Can't
his,
think of his name.
Can't think of his name right now off the top of my
Josh
head.
Gad.
Yeah, Josh Gad.
Yeah.
They made his character gay, and so there was stigma even before the movie released that they were gonna do some stuff. And then I saw it, and I was like, aside from Emma Watson, she is really pretty, but she's doesn't have the vocal range of the original actress of Beauty and the Beast. And like it was kind of just like she didn't have the vocal range, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for somebody who was going to play Belle. But the songs that they added to that movie were good. Like the Beast song, if you ever hear it, is really, really good. And my wife and I my wife endured this movie with me. So it's not just my opinion. Like my wife was complaining through this entire movie.
Yeah.
Because we are sticklers for original Disney. And every single song that they added to this was just like, I mean, Disney has always had like just these amazing scores and amazingly like melodies and things like that. I can't remember any of the new songs. And
Right.
most of them were new because they were cutting out original songs.
Yeah.
Because they cut out like whole sections of this freaking movie. But
What?
yeah, because they rewrote it. Like there was no Prince in this movie. Spoiler alert for.
Oh, nice. Way to go.
Spoiler-
Way to ruin it.
Just killed it for
Spoilers.
everyone that
I'm
hasn't
pretty
watched
sure-
it. All
I'm
7
pretty
people that are
sure-
going to watch us watch this. You just ruined
I'm
it for
pretty
everyone.
sure Rachel Ziegler already spoiled it. So because she's like, she's not gonna get rescued by the prince.
Yeah, but that was
and
a
he's
year
not
ago.
He's not a creepy stalker. Weird. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, that was a pretty bad take.
Yeah, and then you look at Snow, and you're like, that ain't my Snow White.
Oh, shit.
I ain't electing her to be Snow White. Nope.
After following their career for years. Not a good kind of celebrity, like. More like a Jimmy Savile kind of celebrity. The kind that you're discreetly warned never
Love
to
this
get
guy's
into
voice.
a room alone with.
I'll talk about it. Let's watch this and I'll talk about it.
But here it is.
I got more takes.
nonetheless. And now that
Oh.
I've finally suffered through
It's the
nearly
fat
2
dwarf.
hours of Snow White, I can confidently
Ah.
tell you that, yes, this film absolutely lived up to all my worst expectations, and in some cases,
It was worse.
exceeded them.
It was
A
worse.
bloated, overstuffed turkey of a production, weighed down by hammy acting, cheap costumes, horrendous CGI, and vomit-inducing cinematography that bungles most
So
of the
bad.
elements, steals from the original animated movie, abandons
What?
its classic ideals of self-sacrifice, heroism, and true love, and injects the lethal dose of the message, which is so redundant and thematically
So true.
that it just gets abandoned by the ends. It's also laughably obvious where they've had to reshoot and rewrite big chunks of this movie in
Yes.
response to all the backlash. Entire subplot.
Here, pause it real quick. You remember the dwarves?
Yeah,
Hey,
at
I was getting
least-
into the
At least
dwarves.
they changed that because it was
Well, no,
it was
no.
the magical people and
They're not.
that's-
Hold on.
What?
Another spoiler. So get away if you're gonna watch it. They're not out of the movie.
What do you mean?
Those people, they just moved them around and
What?
made them bandits that are with the love interest or whatever. They moved them around, but it is blatantly obvious that that is not who their characters are.
Explain this
Because
to me
they-
like I'm fucking 8 years old because I'm
Here's
not.
the thing. Okay, so they shot the movie. Okay,
Uh-huh.
they had those actors that were supposed to be the dwarves, but they were calling them magical creatures. They had like one dwarf out of the whole group, right? And remember the backlash when that video showed up and they had like the pickaxes and everybody's like, that's the dwarves. And then they flipped out. They reshot, and that's why all these guys are animated, because they added them into the movie, but they had scenes because they got to pay those actors for the stuff they filmed. So they have scenes with those actors, and they probably reshot like some minor things to like change their characters. But there's some scenes at the end where you're just like, those dwarves don't make sense where they're at in the scene. And then these random bandits are just, it didn't make it better.
He's gonna do that every time.
Every time.
Tyler, can you pull up
Didn't make it better.
can you pull up a picture of the original?
Pull them up.
There's setups are interesting.
Well, what do I need to search here, because I'm not.
So pull up Snow White, like magical guys, magical beings. Yeah, that one right there. Yeah, so those guys and a girl.
Uh-huh.
You're telling me they ended up making the people of color the bandits?
No, so there was honestly like they must have been like
is this some closet racism happening here? Is
I'm
that
just,
what
I'm
we're
just like,
seeing?
that was kind of like a 180, you know? They kind of,
Yeah.
you know, it's just that
led
the way
led
you
by a
were
white
kind
guy.
of, the way you were wording it, I was like, that, you know,
No,
you set out to do something and you become the villain kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
trust me. I'm convinced that this city is like on a port or something, because it is the most diverse city I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they have people from everywhere, so it's like it's got to be like an international port city. Where did Snow White, like in the written book, where was it supposed to take place?
In
Germany,
the
isn't it?
forest?
Isn't
Is
that
it Germany?
Isn't it German? Isn't that why a particular historical figure really liked?
Yeah. It's this story is the Snow Queen, which was a Brothers Grimm fairy tale.
Snow Queen is.
So, or,
no,
I'm sorry, yeah,
Snow
you're
Queen
right.
is Frozen.
Snow Queen is Frozen. What is this one? This one's
It's
It's a Brothers Grimm.
It's
a
German.
Brothers Grimm.
I'm like 100% positive.
It
it's
is German,
because
yes.
Hitler was. Oh God, I said the name. Dang it! You're gonna have to
We'll
edit that
bleep
one
it out. We'll bleep it out. You can't.
Can't do that. Yeah, I was
He's
thinking
a
that
Nazi.
was that particular historical figure.
Oh, wait, can we say Nazi?
Favorite movie, book, story, whatever.
Yeah. Snow White. It's just Snow White. It's the Brothers Grimm is German, so it
So this would happen in Germany. One thing the old Germans, they're not very racially friendly.
They
Which
sure
I don't
are.
actually know. I don't
Pre-
actually know
the-
that. I'm just taking a guess.
the pre or post 1945 Germans.
Well, this would be before 1945, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
I
Germans
would-
aren't racially friendly, is that what you're saying?
I would take a guess. I mean, most places weren't racially friendly back then.
No, you're
So,
right.
I would take a guess that they weren't.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Just saying.
So you're telling me that so what you're telling me
Yeah.
is that they took the ethnic diverse cast of friendly characters
Magical creatures.
that were supposed to be what they were calling
Magical
essentially were the
beings.
dwarves, right? They were essentially the dwarves.
They're
Those were
one-
going to
the
be
one
her
dwarf.
her seven friends that she finds their cottage that live together and she
Yeah,
breaks in and all of that,
I
right?
think he mentions it. I think he mentions it in this video. So when we get to it, I think he talks about when she first runs into them, and no, or maybe no, Michael Knoll. You haven't watched Michael Knowles watched the movie too, and he made some comments about how she introduces, which I have issues with that too.
And then after that, okay, so they replaced them with admittedly good looking. I mean, these dwarves look pretty good. I would want them to look like this. So
No, not when you watch the movie.
I think they look
like,
fine.
Just
there's
us looking at it, I
scenes.
was thinking the same
Hold
thing.
on. Yeah, but that's because all of this is CGI. When they put them with real people, it's blatantly
And
obvious.
hold up, how long ago did this happen? How long did they get the backlash of the magic?
Oh,
couple
it was
years ago,
a
wasn't
long
it?
time ago.
Oh, it
years
was
ago.
okay.
It's been a while
I was
ago.
gonna say if this was like
If they
a
can
year,
reshoot Sonic in 6 months,
yeah.
and it be good, these guys, it's freaking Disney. Come on,
Okay.
Tyler.
I was gonna say, like, if it was like 6 months to a year, like these dwarves look really good. So I mean,
they
that's
had
just
2
my
years. They had 2
Um,
years, but they still couldn't make them look good.
opinion. Why the fuck are we talking
up
about a
against
Snow
real
White
people.
movie 2 years in advance? I mean, let's be honest. Like, this kind of goes
because
into
your
the
main
video
actress is
game.
Rachel Ziegler and Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
And funny thing, there's a lot of Israel Palestine like heavy narrative in this, and this Rachel Ziegler got in big backlash because she was like free Palestine. You know, it was a big thing for her.
And obviously,
Right.
Gal Gadot, wasn't she Israeli
she's-
military?
She's Israeli, but like
Yeah.
she's taken something that's not hers, and it needs to go back to the people, and all this stuff. And it's like like he said, they just wanted to push a message,
Produced
and it was
What's
blatantly
new?
obvious.
Explanation, and the ending is so wildly anticlimactic and jarring that it makes World War Z look like a model of cinematic efficiency. Anyway, let's get the plot
That was a
summary
bad
over
movie.
with so we can put this turd behind us. The basic setup for Snow White is broadly similar to the original film. Snow White herself is born to the benevolent king and queen of a generic medieval fantasy land that tactfully goes unnamed. Although, fuck me, they must have pretty good transportation links with the rest of the world because the population here is more ethnically diverse than
Oh.
Central London. Anyway, Snow White's mum dies and her dad remarries Gal Gadot, who manipulates him into going off to war, where he promptly disappears and is never seen again. Oh no, guess she's
Aw.
gonna have to take control of everything. What a bind. Fast forward a few years and the kingdom's become a kind of dystopian nightmare where everyone's poor and hopeless and ruled over by an iron-fisted tyrant. It's a bit like modern day Britain, only with better sanitation and dental care. Anyway, after a confrontation with Snow White over a bandit named Jonathan who tried to steal some food from the castle, the evil queen decides the best thing to do is send her out into the forest where the huntsman can conveniently murder her. It's a bit extreme, but I'll let it slide. Naturally, the huntsman has second thoughts and decides to let her go, and after a while,
That didn't make sense.
she runs into
Do you remember that scene?
I can only
No.
I
I
did
think those
So-
dwarves look good. What the hell are you talking about?
Hold it. Hang on. You haven't seen the movie, okay?
You're right,
You can
you're right.
watch it and go through hell like I did.
Okay.
But so we, being us, after we watched that, we immediately put on the original. Like,
Okay.
and when she flees from the huntsman, so the huntsman almost murders her, right? When she runs in the
Which
woods,
is the way that the original story goes.
that's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
When she runs in the woods, in this movie, they're like the trees grab her and stuff. In the cartoon, you can clearly tell that was all in her head. Like she's just freaked out that she's 14 and she's running through the woods and like she sees the trees and like they're monsters and then like her dress snags on a branch and she thinks she's getting grabbed by hands and then runs and then she falls and cries in the woods, right? And then the animals come and like it all cheers up.
My little 7-year-old self doesn't remember that part because it was
Well,
probably
it's-
scary. So I
Yeah,
blocked it out. Mental block
but like that
there.
was like because she falls in this lake and like sees alligators, but they're just logs, and like the logs have eyes and their mouths open, and you know she runs out of the water and stuff. You know, like she freaks out. It's clearly that it was in her head, but God forbid a woman could have a vulnerable moment after almost getting murdered. That they're just like women can't. It's got to be real freaking monsters in this woods. And the woods literally is hell.
See, this is what I mean, though. So, like, I obviously I understand your
Also, she wasn't
political
crying.
views, right? So this is what I mean. Like, you went in with
But it's
an
so
already
obvious.
Well, I understand that, but like you're going in with an already negative perception of the movie, right? So you're going to be more apt to hate things that they change or make different, right? So yeah, okay, that movie was made in fucking like 1948 or whatever it was. You know, I don't remember the actual release
Here's the
date.
thing. I
but-
didn't. So that particular take is not mine. That is my wife's take.
Right.
So because I didn't remember it, I've seen Snow White was not my favorite Disney movie.
Well, of course not.
I watched it a couple times as a kid, and then
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since. But we immediately watched it after because we wanted to see
Right.
it. Because my wife was like, "That's not how that went."
Mhm.
Like, that's, like in her
Yeah.
head, she was like, it was all in her head. Like that just did. It was also super rushed. Like it
Yeah.
just flowed so fast that you're just like, this doesn't make sense. Like all these conversations are just horribly written, and it just doesn't flow well at all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. I just was trying to make the point that people obviously already have negative preconceptions, and if you have that, anything that they take stylistic creativity or use their
Yeah,
own
no,
vision, you're going to be like, I hate this.
Yeah, no, I mean I get that, but like I can still recognize good point because they did that stuff in Beauty and the Beast, and there were things that I hated in that because that's like yet again I think that movie was filmed or the time period. Racial things were not equal in France at that time, and they mixed things, and I complained about that stuff too because it just like doesn't make sense for the set piece of what this movie would be. But I looked honestly, I enjoyed that movie even with like the subtle hints to Gaston's henchman being swinging the other way. I mean, at least that was subtle enough, and he wasn't like making out on screen or something.
And we are swinging the other way, huh?
Yeah, but like there were things with that movie that I liked.
Probably has nightmares about.
Ah!
I'm not kidding, man. The brief glimpses that you got of these things in the trailers are absolutely.
See, look at how bad that doesn't look good.
So horror of actually.
It's not
I don't think they
bothering me.
look too
on the
bad.
big screen.
That didn't look
These
good.
are nightmares made.
It doesn't look good. It's
in
noticeable
the middle of the night and saw Mr. Blobby standing
because they're cutting things out of the scene.
silent, motionless, watching you with those blank, lifeless eyes that bore into your very soul.
Oh, not
So
me.
after
He
trashing
was
at their
doing that.
house for a while, eating their food and helping herself to all
She
of
can sing though. She's a
Snow White
really good singer.
forces them to clean up their own home while she prances around like she's on some mad acid trip. Which she probably is, to be fair. I would be if I was in this fucking movie. Then for some reason she gets it into her head that her dad must still be alive, and the only way to find him is to seek out the bandits that
She got her mouth is just as big as Reba McEntire's.
lurk in the forests.
Right.
So naturally, she runs into Jonathan about 5 minutes after leaving the house so that the rest of the plot can happen, and he protects her from the evil queen's soldiers by taking an arrow that was
Google
meant
it.
for her, so she brings him back to
And
the
it hits
door.
him right.
Like, stop.
right
Oh
here.
yeah, you know those retarded looking
And it's
stuff
life-threatening.
from those early set pictures that
The
everyone thought
Hardar.
were dwarves? Well,
All
those
right.
are the bandits who are actually out of work actors forced to become thieves because the evil queen's taxation policies shut down their entire industry.
Fucking queen.
That's a reference
Oh.
to something. Is that a reference to something?
Is that a reference to something?
Trump just made our video?
No idea.
I guess
Anyway,
so.
Jonathan decides to lure the queen's soldiers away to give Snow White time to
What the
escape,
hell?
and then immediately gets captured because he's a
They had a chase scene in this, and the dwarves were riding deer.
Well, no,
What
they
else are they
ride
gonna
to
ride?
save. No, they ride. The animals go and get them to save Snow White when she's bringing
Oh.
the apple.
Okay,
That's in the original.
I didn't
Queen
realize.
decides that
Oh
she's
my
had enough
god,
of
you
this
see that
shit.
fucking?
Frankly, one sympathizes.
The d-
So she
so
turns
cylindrical-
into an old hag and manipulates Snow White.
You know what she's using that for?
Apple that makes her go a bit
Cast
dead.
spells.
But that's okay because Jonathan escapes prison so that the rest of the plot can happen and gives her the world's least passionate kiss, which brings her back to life so that she can begin her
It didn't even look real. The kiss
Whoa!
didn't look real.
queen and take back
There it was again.
her kingdom. Do you want to know what that plan is? Are you ready for the fourth dimensional quantum mega chess that she plays here? That would probably give Christopher Nolan
Spoiler alert for the end of the movie.
walks into town and then convinces the soldiers to turn against the evil queen because she can remember their names.
That's it.
Kidding, that's her plan. So the evil queen gets mad and smashes the magic mirror and then turns into black glass and shatters, and Snow White becomes the new queen, and that's it. They all live happily ever after.
Whoa.
Now, there's a lot I want to
Is
say
that-
about this movie, but first, let us begin with the
That's
positive.
how I felt.
Hard as it might be to believe, most of them actually concern Rachel Zegler.
No way!
Now, don't get me wrong, she might be an obnoxious arsehole in the real world, but credit where credit's due here. She actually isn't terrible as Snow White.
It's not true!
I mean, hold the phone. Not.
Her outfit looks like it cost like $100 off Amazon. Her haircut
That's so
makes
true.
Anton Chigurh like a cutting-edge trailblazer. Her performance is a bit over the top and theater kid at times, and her American accent comes and goes depending on whether or not she's in a reshoot. But I do get the impression she's at least trying to do her best with the material, and she can absolutely belt out the musical number.
Wait, you mean she actually tried to do good acting? That's a step up.
It was over the top, but like her performance was better than Gal Gadot's.
Oh.
Way better. And that's saying
Pretty
something.
much
But
what
she
you
can
expect
sing.
from a trained
She's got a
vocalist.
very good voice.
The same
a
cannot
trained
be said
vocalist.
for Gal Gadot, however. It genuinely pains me to say this, but I think we all need to come to the acceptance that that girl cannot fucking act. It takes a special kind of charisma, presence, and dramatic range to play a good Disney villain, and well, Gal
Did
Gadot,
I not just say this?
her delivery somehow manages to be wooden and scenery chewing at the same time, and when she has to deliver a big musical number, you can pinpoint the exact moment where they swap out her voice with someone who can actually sing.
Imagine there's no heaven.
Jonathan is yet another entry into the bumbling, forgettable.
See,
This
but I
guy
can
right
handle
here.
it. I can handle it if you can see her hair.
This fucking guy. We've seen this probably like what 6 or 7 times now. Like, so this dude, every time he fucking side eyes, all I can think about is that he just smelled somebody else's fart. So bad. Like, he's like, what the fuck did you just do? You know, like, I smelled
He's
that
like,
all the way over here.
Who just ripped one? Who did it?
Yeah.
Non-threatening male sidekick list of modern-day Disney heroes. Jonathan is yet another entry into the bumbling,
So, okay. So he smelled the fart, right? And then she turns around like he just told her about it, like telepathically.
forgettable, non-threatening male sidekick list of modern-day Disney heroes. There's brief moments where it seems like he might be displaying the tiniest
So
bit of
good.
human heroism, and it's immediately squashed to reinforce the
Just
idea
like,
in a
the fuck?
Visually, the film's a mess. CGI Cthulhu nightmares.
Oh, that's so good.
It ranges from bleak, washed out.
I didn't catch that. That was
Sometimes
good.
it looked like Zack Snyder directed it, to a kind of over-the-top golden yellow piss filter for the CGI woodland scenes that's so excessive it actually makes your eyes start to hurt after a while. It's funny as well because there's like one scene that was filmed on location in a real forest, and the contrast between that and the CGI fantasy version is so jarring. I actually thought the action had shifted to a whole different country. Also,
You want a hot take?
you can absolutely tell this movie's been reshot to fuck.
Yeah,
The
1
kiss
second.
scene where Jonathan brings Snow White back to life was absolutely added in later to try to appease fans of the original. Snow
Whoa.
White herself has clearly
Okay.
been toned
Some of the
down in
dwarf
places
scenes
to
are
make
pretty
her
bad.
less obnoxious, and I'd be willing
Oh,
to
it's noted. I'm telling you, anytime they're with people, it's really
Most
noticeable.
of them don't even
Yeah.
get a single line of dialogue, which once again had me questioning why the fuck are they even in this movie? I think the biggest
they cut 'em out.
is the ending. The original movie had the dwarves battling the evil queen to save Snow White, reinforcing the idea of reciprocal kindness and redemption. But here, Snow White has to resolve everything by herself, and the result is that none of the other groups or factions have anything to do. Both the bandits and the dwarves, and even Jonathan, just kind of stand around watching the whole thing play out, and I couldn't help wondering, what is the film even trying to show us here? Snow White as a character seems
That
to be
women
all
don't
about
need you.
empathy and shared responsibility, rather than
Can we show that?
self-interest. But
I
when
think
it comes
so. I
to the
think we're
crunch,
okay.
she ends up having to do basically everything herself, which negates the very point the movie's been trying to make for the past 2 hours. It's this fundamental inability to understand what it's even trying to say beyond the crushingly tired princess who saves herself trope that's now become the very cliche it worked so hard to overturn that proves to be the film's real undoing. In short, Snow
wait.
White is
Oh, wait,
a
it's
modern
almost
day
over,
mess.
so-
A film that's basically been a disaster from start to finish, and now that it's finally out there and I've reviewed it, it's something I'm very much looking forward to tossing on the ash heap of history. Do yourself a big old favor, save yourself some time and money, and go watch the original instead.
Weird.
Weird.
And I hate her again.
That's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Weird.
Just her. Weird.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, like, so what was I gonna say? Oh, Why is it that that we never mind. I'll just drop it. I'll drop it. I'll drop
What?
it.
Q,
Go ahead.
Q, I would.
What?
Yeah. What? No,
What were
say
you
it.
gonna say?
No, it was.
Say it.
I'm having a hard time like putting it into words. It's just like, why do we gotta do this with every Disney movie? And like, I understand that they've taken a pretty hard stance.
Like, do what with every movie?
Like,
Like,
I mean,
remake it?
for one, yes, and then for
Well,
two,
you know why they're doing that. That's obvious.
because it makes money.
No, because it's the only thing that will, because they can't come up with anything new.
I think that's the main thing. They just are not coming up with anything new anymore. Is what it feels
Yeah.
like. They're buying
have to
everything up and they're just
rehash.
redoing everything.
So they're like, oh wait, there's these childhood movies that all these people are adults now. We want them to come by it, and they'll go try to relive their childhood in live action. You know, but you get a couple that are successful, and then all of a sudden you select a director that's got a real big agenda and doesn't care about polishing a turd. You know.
Yeah.
And like, this is what you, but the thing that's crazy about this movie is it was like the agenda gets lost halfway through, and then they throw in a bunch of other crap that's relative to whatever time that's going on when they're filming it. And it was just like, this makes zero sense.
Yeah.
The entire movie.
So I don't know. I think that, I mean, from what I saw, and I know that it was a bunch of just the same thing over and over. And yes, I didn't hear any of the words, but the movie itself looked okay. I don't think it's like this is as bad as everyone says it is. I think maybe it is that the stigma is there, and that's what's lending towards the.
I think it would have slid under the radar if there just wasn't any stigma. Like, it wouldn't have.
No, I don't.
Weird.
I don't. Here's the thing. I don't, like, legitimately, if she wouldn't have been as bad as she was at the beginning, like, but even then, she's the best part of the movie, and I couldn't stand her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But like, she's not Snow White, and you want to know the best part? How they get around the name thing? She was born during a snowstorm.
What?
Yeah.
Because
she was in a carriage, and they got stuck in a snowstorm, and she survived.
And so she's tan and not white.
Because she's Snow White, because she was born during a blizzard.
Oh my God.
Get it?
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's fair. You chose an actress that doesn't have the pale white skin like Snow White does. So
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
But then the whole fair thing doesn't make sense either. Like, when the queen, the evil queen, keeps going up and she's like, who's the fairest of them all? I get it that they're talking fair, like, heart-wise, but it doesn't make sense that he would ever say the evil queen, if that's the case, because she's a jealous biatch.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Right.
So we went and watched the other one, but she was beautiful, but she was so vain that she would go look in the mirror every day and say, who's the fairest of them all? But she knew that Snow White was so beautiful that one day, excuse me.
You just rocked out right there. Bring it on. Yeah.
That one day that Snow White was going to become more fair than her as she got older. And that was going to be the day that she was going to get pissed. So she would ask the mirror every day, or ever so often, like, who's the fairest of them all?
Right.
And then one day Snow White finally became more fair.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you've seen the movie, so like I understand. I
watched both
so
movies just for reference.
I can't really comment on it. So,
but I get what you're talking about, because I do that. Like, I go in with stigmas and things like that. But here's the thing: like, if it's a good movie, it'll still push through that, and I'll look past certain things. Like Spider-Man, they changed Mary Jane, but I love Tom Holland's movies.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stand it. But then they validate the change by bringing in the other Spider-Man in the third Spider-Man film, and then you're like, oh, this is just another universe. So it's like all of those Spider-Man existed. You're not redoing the ones that I liked. Like I like Tobey Maguire and I liked Andrew Garfield.
Right.
You know, Andrew Garfield arguably is one of my favorites, but he was too cool to be Spider-Man. Like, I was like, he's a skater and he's badass. Damn, how did he ever get picked on as a kid?
How did he ever get picked on? Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah, that's a video by the Critical Drinker. I'm sure there's a lot of people.
Cheese and rice.
There's a lot of people that have heard of him, but if you haven't, go check.
We
him out.
got comments.
He's
Let's
pretty
look at
awesome.
comments.
So, first comment is: don't cry because it happened. Smile because it's over. And that's what
a
he's
positive
saying.
way to say that. You know, that's positive. You know,
That's funny.
He's Ethan's like, you're
I did
right. I
smile
was
afterwards.
smiling right after it was over.
As soon as it was over, I
finally,
said
the
that-
madness has ended.
As soon as it was over, I leaned over to Jody and I was like, that was the best part of the movie.
Hey everyone, I do hope you enjoyed the boys' video. Let them know if there is any topics you would like them to rant about. Don't forget to follow the links to see the full episode and our other videos. As always, I'm Glitch, and this is Glitch in the Chat.